Alright guys, Counterpunch Boxing Talk, we're back with another one. Okay, I want to make a video today, and I'm going to try to keep it quick, maybe 10 minutes, about Kell Brook. I have a lot of guys out there, wanting to know what I think about Kell Brook, the past, present, and future. I try to keep my videos quick unless, we really want to just get into it and break a fight down. But today, like I said, I just want to do a quick rundown and tell you what I think about Brook. I did a top 5 welterweight video about a week ago, or maybe 4 or 5 days ago, and I had him at number 5, I believe. But all right, Mr. Ezekiel Kell Brook. Bet you didn't know that. His name is actually Ezekiel Kell Brook. And I'm going to give you a quick rundown. I mean, there is a ton of history on this guy over in England and the United Kingdom. But we really started to hear about Brook after the Sean Porter fight. Debuted September 2004. Had a lot of good fights from 2004 to 2008. From 2008, won the British title. 2009, won the Lonsdale belt, another British title. September 2009. He beat Nathan Cleverly, became boxer of the year, by the British writers, which is a prestigious title to hold over there. A guy he really looked up to, Nassim Ahmed, Prince Ahmed, as we know him. Won the same title or honor, whatever you want to call it. 2010, won the WBO Intercontinental belt. I'm going to butcher the name real quick. Christoph Biaz, I cannot pronounce his name, but won the WBO 2010 Intercontinental belt from that guy. 2011, now pivotal year, 2011, he made the move to Matchroom Boxing with Eddie Hearns and broke away from Frank Warren. Now, Frank Warren, is a well-known, well-respected boxing promoter in UK. And then he hooked up with Eddie Hearns. Now, Eddie Hearns, I look at him as like a vessel, to America. He is that gap in the from the pond between the UK and America. Kind of the crossover stars that make them a global icon, not just in their own country. And it's crazy. All these countries have like a ton of fighters that we don't even know about. Now Brook, I mean, he was pretty much fighting top 10 guys over there in the UK. Maybe top 20, depending on what point in his career you want to look at, before he came to America. But let me keep running down real quick. 2011, like I said, made that move to this man right here, Eddie Hearn. 2012, he fought Jones Hatton, Ricky Hatton's brother, and I think that was kind of intentional by Eddie Hearns. It was like his introduction, to the American public. Okay, I feel that's kind of what that was. Now, okay, so 2012. I don't want to go through all the titles and everything right now. Saldivia, third round. I think he won 2012 third round knockout or TKO, I believe. 2013 is when the bullshit started. 2013, they were trying to negotiate a Kell Brook and Devin Alexander fight. During the negotiations, Kell Brook, he injured his ankle. And he couldn't make the fight. Well, finally, Kell Brook, he healed, got better. Well, then Devin Alexander had a bicep injury, and he couldn't make good on the fight. So, Kell Brook ended up having a rematch with, I believe it was Carson Jones, I want to say. Yeah, Carson Jones. Ended up rematching Carson Jones. The first fight them two guys had, it was kind of a close decision. And then in the rematch, he basically dominated. I mean, not basically, he did. He dominated. All right. After that, that kind of catapulted him. Well, no, 2013 Sinchenko fight. You know, he won that one. 2014, the Alvaro Robles fight. I butcher these guys' names. I apologize. 19-6-0. 2014, Mr. Showtime, Sean Porter. Okay. Brook is actually the mandatory in that fight, and believe it or not, he was the underdog going into the Porter fight. Again, I mean, you know, Brook had been in the UK, not a big name, not well known. You know, maybe the hardcores like knew who he was, but okay, so he comes in, beats Sean Porter by decision. You know, according to Sean and Kenny Porter, the father of Sean Porter, they believed, you know, they were robbed. And you know, I gave the fight to Kell Brook, but there was a lot of holding in that fight, just a ton of holding. And I do not like holding at all. So, but he, like I said, he got the IBF nonetheless. 2015, Lynette Donlon, 35-3-0. 2015, Frankie Gavin, 23-3-0. 2016, Kevin Beiser. Now, these are all guys that have no business being in the ring with Brook. Okay, you know, I don't understand what the deal is. I mean, he needs a big name. Now he claims that he is avoided like Golovkin. Now here's where we get into the meat and potatoes. Here we get into the thick of things right now. And look, I wrote down a lot of notes, and I want to kind of read some of my notes that I wrote down, you know, because I mean, it's just a very complicated thing. Like here with the injury, like I said, he was stabbed, or actually he was hacked in the leg by a machete. Him and his wife went to Spain on vacation, and his wife went to bed, and Brook left with a man, and they went over to his apartment. I mean, that's kind of weird that you know, Brook would leave his sleeping wife, and you know, when they're in Spain, and go to a man's apartment. I mean, I've heard a lot of people say things like, oh well, it's drugs and partying. Well, you know, I'm not going to speculate. But anyway, something went down. The guy pulled out a machete, you know, hacked it, or took a hack at his leg. He had to get like 38 metal staples in his leg. They were worried he couldn't walk again, and he would never be the same again. We know we know he's fine today, but yeah, there's a lot of controversy, and the story doesn't add up, and really I don't want to get into that right now. Maybe I'll make another video about it, because I know a little bit about it, maybe things you guys have never heard, that I've, you know, picked up in different forums and things like that. But yeah, so anyway, you know, after that injury, he was out for a while because of that. But let me go over a few of my notes right now, so you guys can get an idea of what I think. And these are like my bullet points that I wrote down about Brook. And before I get into them, I mean, the main problem I have with Kell Brook is, okay, like take the Golovkin fight. I mean, that's at middleweight. Now, Brook has been beating all these guys at welterweight at 147 pounds, but Kell Brook admitted himself, he said, look, I'm not a welterweight, I am a light middleweight and middleweight. You know, I'm a 154-pound fighter that, you know, just so happens by the grace of God, I can make welterweight. You know, so he's pretty, you know, well, not admit, he did admit, I don't know how you want to phrase it, but I mean, he flat out said, you know, I'm not a welterweight. You know, so whenever you think about that, it kind of takes away from all the victories at welterweight, in my opinion. You know, hang on one sec. But yeah, I mean, it just kind of takes away from all, you know, all the victories, in my opinion. You know, but then again, I've heard other guys argue that, you know, if he can make that weight, well, you can't fault him for that. And I guess you're right. You know, I guess if you're a natural 154 or 160 pound fighter, and you can make 147, then yeah, maybe you're right. You know, maybe I can't, you know, I shouldn't fault him for that, but I kind of do, because I don't fault him, but he has a huge advantage going into the fight. You know, that's my problem with it, you know. So when you, but you know, he said his natural weight is 154. There's Devin Alexander right there. Yeah, his natural weight is 154, you know. So yeah, I mean, the only time we've seen him anywhere near 154 was against you know, Gennady Golovkin. But I'd like to see him at 154. But anyway, let me go over. But that's a big problem I have with Kell Brook is the weight. But a few of my notes I wrote: beat Sean Porter in 2014 for the IBF. You know, needs a big name other than Golovkin. I mean, that's a big problem. You know, and I wrote other than Golovkin, but kind of like Golovkin. You know, a lot of these guys won't fight him because they know he's not a welterweight. I mean, if I was a welterweight, I wouldn't fight him. You know, I mean, the dude needs to be at 154. It's just, you know, he's so cut. I mean, look at that. There's not an ounce of fat on this guy. I mean, look at that, you know, and you can tell. See how thin he is in the chin and the neck. I mean, he can cut down to that 147. Put on a few pounds to bulk up in the head, around the brain, the neck, and become, you know, and become basically a middleweight fighting welterweights. And I don't like that. You know, leave your comments below. What do you think about that? He admitted it himself. I mean, I don't want to. I can search it right now and show you the quote, but I don't want to get into that right now. But yeah, just put in Kell Brook is not a welterweight, and you'll see what I mean. I mean, the guy, like I said, you know, he's huge and he can just melt down, kind of like Canelo does. You know, Canelo can melt down, but is that a bad thing, or is that fair? You know, I mean, that's the ongoing debate. And then, okay, point number 5 I wrote here, Brook didn't build on the Porter fight. Now, or build off. After the Porter fight, you know, Brook didn't build on that. He didn't, you know, he didn't take that momentum and get another big fight. You know, I mean, he should have really built on that victory, and he did not. Now, I know some people say it's because of the injuries and, you know, that kind of thing, but, you know, he didn't build on it. I mean, like, look right here, after Porter, you know, that was in 2014. At the end, 2015, you know, you got Lynette, Frankie Gavin, and Kevin Bizer, and then Golovkin. You know, you have 4 fights after Sean Porter, but none of them, you know, none of them really a worthy fight. I mean, they're terrible fights, actually. You know, so, yeah, I mean, so, yeah, and then I wrote, let's see, you know, Brook is not a big name in America. He's just not. I mean, you can ask any, you know, fairly knowledgeable fan, and they maybe have heard of him at best. A lot of people don't know even who he is. And then I wrote, Brook said it himself. He is not a welterweight. He is a light middleweight and has a very hard time making 147. And there's been a lot of rumors he had to pull out of a fight. And I can't remember which fight it was, but maybe, oh, you know what? It was a Devin Alexander. Yeah, Devin Alexander. A lot of people said, well, he just couldn't make it down to 147 for that fight. You know, again, I'm not validating that, but that is the rumor that I heard. And I mean, I think Brook is still in that you need to prove yourself category. Hang on, I got to take a drink of water. Yeah, I think, you know, he has a lot to prove. I mean, after that win against Porter, you know, you can't say anything about the next like 3 guys that he fought. I mean, who are they? You don't even know who they are. I don't either. I mean, I barely know who they are. You know, and in that Porter fight, like I mentioned, he had to hold constantly. I didn't like that. 11-year pro career. Now during the negotiations, now here's another thing I don't like. You know, you had the negotiations with the Alexander fight, Devin Alexander fight fall through. Now you have the negotiations with the Diego Chavez fight fall through. Again, it was because of a rib injury. See, I wrote here number Yeah, number 11. Brook was going to fight Diego Chavez, 23-2-1, 19 KOs, but his rib injury put a stop to the fight. Now, that really wasn't Brook's fault, but well, I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. But truth is, Brook couldn't make 147 for the Diego Chavez fight because he is a natural 154. So you have that Devin Alexander fight, bad ankle. Was it really a weight issue? I don't know. Diego Chavez fight, rib injury. Was it really a weight issue? I don't know. But again, I mean, you have two major, or not major, but two well-known guys that you could have had on your resume, and now you don't because of injury. Yeah, and now Prince Nassim Hamed, he trained at the same gym as Brook, and like I said, Brook really looks up to him, and what I like is you can kind of see some of that style in Brook, that crazy style that Prince had. But yeah, that was my number 11 note. Let me see if I have any more. If not, I'm just gonna keep on going with what I think in my head. Okay, yeah, here I have a few more I want to go over. Something I like about Brook, he can switch from orthodox to southpaw. I like that. I like that. He can switch it up. I'm like that too. When I box, I have a really powerful right hand, but I like to switch over to southpaw and use my left. 5'9", 69-inch reach. Now Brook has that upper mass. If you look right here, he has that upper mass in his upper body, and it kind of tapers down to his hips. I mean, if you know anything about a boxer's like physique and who they or how or what makes them, I apologize, what makes a great boxer, if you have that upper powerful body, like this, and then it kind of tapers down to like medium sized hips or whatever, you can really put a lot of powerful punches behind that, and it really does. Like I've been in the gym with guys, and you can kind of look at their body and tell if they have that natural ability or not. But let's see, number 17. He took a lot of shine. Oh yeah. Now, do we even want to get into Kell Brook and Amir Khan? I mean, this fight should have happened. It needs to happen. I don't understand why it hasn't happened. And I think we'll get it soon. After Brook lost to Golovkin, he needs a good win, on a big stage too. Now, a lot of people say, well, he's brave, he's a warrior for fighting Golovkin, and yeah, he is. I mean, he's not, I don't think he's a natural middleweight. I think he's a natural light middleweight, so he did what the other middleweights would not do, so I give him a ton of credit for that. I really do. And Brook recently made a comment that he would be quitting boxing if he doesn't get a big fight by 2017. He'll quit. He's like, I'm tired of it. I'll either get me a big name or I'm done. But then, I kind of think back to the Diego Chavez and the Devin Alexander and, the bad decision he made when he nearly got his leg hacked off. And, there's just I have a lot of questions about Kell Brook right now. And then now we're hearing about a possible Kell Brook and Manny Pacquiao, Kell Brook and Earl Spence. I mean, and I'm going to make videos about that because, what I think is going to happen, I think we might get a Manny Pacquiao Kell Brook fight. I really do. I'll give my prediction on that. But see if we can look at that scar for a minute. I don't know if I can click on that. Yeah, but I would like to see a Kell Brook, Manny Pacquiao. Any big name, to be honest with you. I just want this guy to get in the ring with anyone other than Shawn Porter. When you look at his resume, who does he have other than Shawn Porter? And now with that orbital bone injury after the Golovkin fight, a friend of mine had the exact same injury, and he could never fight again. So But anyway, I want to know what you guys think. You know, I might be rambling a little bit, but this is one of those videos where I'm kind of freestyling. I'm just goofing around, looking on the internet, you know, talking, just kind of talking to myself and recording it, really. So, you know, I want to know what you guys think about Kell Brook. I mean, I think he has a ton of talent, and he, you know, yeah, I'm sure he will make it, you know, make it to the top. I'm sure he will, but, you know, I mean, like I said, I have a lot of questions, and my main concern about Brook is just that inconsistency. You know, the fact that, you know, after the Sean Porter fight, he did not build on that fight. And then the weight issues, you know, when you look at, you know, the weight where I believe he should not be at welterweight, and he should be at light middleweight or middleweight, you know, things like that. I've also heard and read, you know, not heard, it's not a rumor, it's a fact. So it's just a fact that, you know, a problem with him getting a big opponent is Eddie Hearns or Kell Brook wants like too much of the purse. Like if, you know, say Eddie Hearns, you know, has, I don't know, whatever, a couple million on the fight, 3 million or whatever. Brook wants like way too much. He wants, you know, too much of a percentage, and there's really not anything left. You know, I think they should fight on a percentage of like maybe a pay-per-view or gate sales or whatever. But right now, you know, the other side of the argument is, well, Eddie Hearns, he's not putting up enough money. You know, he's not offering these guys enough money, and that's why he took the fight with Golovkin, because there was enough money on the table. And Brook knew, you know, Brook knew, like, look, if I lose, you know, what do I lose? I mean, I'm going to win either way. But I don't think he, wow, look at that. I don't think Brook realized, though, that, you know, he could get hurt, and he did. I mean, like I said, that orbital injury, a friend of mine had the exact same injury and could never fight again, you know. So, but yeah, like I said, you know, I want to know what you guys think about it. I apologize for the video being so long. I wanted to make it short, but, you know, I want to make sure I get all of my thoughts out there and kind of explain my side of things. That way you guys can, you know, really know how I feel about Brook. You know, I like him. You know, I mean, just to kind of clarify and go over a few things. I mean, I like Kell Brook. I think he's going to go really far. You know, he seems like a good guy. But I think after the Porter fight, he made a lot of bad decisions, and he didn't build off that victory. He didn't build off that momentum, that win. You know, and he needs a big name. I mean, like, these two guys kind of have the same price. You know, Golovkin needs a big name, and he needs a big name. But, you know, Golovkin, I mean, he gets out there. I mean, he'll fight anyone, anytime. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I just don't see that same, you know, enthusiasm from Brook. But I think it's about to happen. I think that eye injury really woke him up. You know, I think that now he's probably thinking, okay, you know, I need to stop bullshitting and get it done. But anyway, Counterpunch Boxing, please leave your comment below. And, you know, please hit that subscribe button. I hate to ask, but it lets me know you guys are watching. And, you know, I want to hear your thoughts. I really do. Don't pass up the video without leaving a comment. I really want to know what you think about Kell Brook. Counterpunch Boxing, thank you for watching.